Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight's headlines, we have the Minister of Health continues his towers in the north of the country. For the international scene, Burkina Faso soldiers killed in terrorist attack. Welcome to our newsroom. The Prime Minister Al-Haj Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has received today the European Union Ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Adam Kulaka. During a courtesy visit to the Prime Minister's office, he has been stationed in Djibouti since 2016 and plans to leave the country at the end of the month after 3 years of good and loyal service. Mr. Adam Kulaka bid a farewell visit to the Prime Minister, a meeting during which Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed expressed his thanks for all the efforts made by the ambassador to improve partnership and cooperation relations between the European Union Embassy and the Djibouti government. In addition, several other subjects of common interest were addressed by the two, such as operations Atalanta to fight maritime piracy, and the partnership between the European Union and the ACP countries, which the Republic of Djibouti is a member. The European Union and Djibouti have launched several EU-funded development projects and successful projects that have been developed, such as the Duda wastewater treatment plant in partnership with the EU. During this farewell visit, Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed expressed the gratitude of Djibouti's government for the care and support you have shown, he said to Ambassador Adam Kulak, whom he also wished a safe return to his native country in Poland. Also, as part of his regional tour, the Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, is placed this time in Rwanda with the decentralized Secretary of State, Mr. Mohamed Aramis, and the Prefect Abdul Malik Mohamed Banoita. Upon their arrival, the members of delegations were greeted by a jubilant crowd that gave them warm welcome. Delegations led by the Minister of Health and the Secretary of State for Decentralization did not shy away from the pleasures of taking a crowd bath before starting the visit to the Rwanda's health post. The visit was carried out under the explanations of the major nurses of the dispensary, Mr. Muhammad Duba, who presented the different service of the Rwanda health post, which is the only level 1 structure to have a maternity ward and hospitalization services. At the end of his visit, the minister strongly encouraged the nursing staff of this health post for their daily work while inviting them to persevere and fellow citizens. Once the visit was completed, the Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Hamad Mohamed Aramis, met with the inhabitants of the locality of Rwanda to discuss the issues and also to discuss together the future prospect of their health post. Also noteworthy was the presence of the Prefect of Tajora, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohamed Banoita, who took part in this dialogue between the population and political decision makers. The speakers took the floor to present their views to members of the government, who took note of all the complaints expressed while thanking the inhabitants of Rwanda for the welcome extended to him. The Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, said he was fully prepared to translate the various requests made by the inhabitants of Rwanda into the reality. The Secretary of State, Mr. Hamad Mohamed Aramis, congratulated the people of Rwanda for their foresight and the relevance of their comment, which showed the importance they attach to their healthy post. The Minister of Energy, Yunus Ali Geddi, has received yesterday in her office late in the morning the new ambassador of India accredited to Djibouti, Mr. Ashok Kumar, as part of a courtesy visit for a first contact. the Minister of Energy, assisted by the Secretary General, Mr. Mohammed Kile Wais, Director of Energy, Mr. Guled Mohammed, welcomed the new Indian ambassador. Discussions focused on Djibouti's and India's strong bilateral relations in the strategic sectors of energy, natural resources. Finally, the minister and the ambassador welcomed the development of cooperation between Djibouti and India and wished to contribute to the strengthening of this strategic partnership. Also, as part of the National Breastfeeding Week in the Alta region, the Ministry of Health organized a workshop to raise awareness and distribute baby toilet kit for the benefit of the breastfeeding mothers. This activity of distributions of the kit took place at the headquarters of the Regional Council in the presence of the Prefect, Acting Prefect Mr. Mohammed Fawzi Ahmed Assawi, the President of the Regional Council, Ilmi Bouh Goudade, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Yaqub Hussein Ardeye. Many officials led by the National Nutrition Program. This breastfeeding promotion campaign has spread throughout the countries, in particular through distributions of baby toilet kits, which consists of clothes sheets, complete grooming kit, and baby disappears. For his part, the acting prefect of Artas region, Mohammed Fawzi Ahmed Assawi, thanked breastfeeding is the way an infant or child is fed through breast milk. It is naturally, he said, performed within the mother's breast. Milk is filled with several vital nutrients that are essential to the baby's needs, because the babies must drink breastfeeding breast milk from birth to 6 months and of age and more. Breast milk has many advantages: protection against all kinds of diseases, and forgetting the special bond that breastfeeding creates between mothers and child. We are in World Breastfeeding Week to promote this practice so that infants are healthier, he said. This weekend, the National Networks of Development organized a ceremony to create a solidarity fund for the Vietnam District Council. Ceremony took place in the headquarters of the Vietnam District. A partnership agreement was signed between the Vietnam District Council and the founders of the District Council, Mr. Yusuf Hassan Nuho, were present the Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Affairs, Mr. Ifrah Ali Ahmed, the representative of the Ministry of Social Affairs, Mr. Abdul Qadir Mahmoud Dadiye, the founders of the District Council, Mr. Yusuf Hassan Nuho, the President of the Vietnam Neighborhood, Mr. Guled Musa Assawi, finally the Secretary General of the Mr. Abdul Qadir Mahmoud Dadiye, representative of the other District Council. This ceremony was a great success, and the whole population appreciates this noble initiative, which aimed to set up a solidarity fund to the neighborhood, followed by the establishment of a food bank and office for materials. Djibouti Sevens team made their final preparations and training last night at Guled Stadium before the return match scheduled from Friday, 23 August in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum. Djibouti Sevens team, winners of the Djibouti Cup in 2018-2019, participate in the CAF Cup competition. The first leg match was played on Sunday, August 11, 2019 at Guled Stadium and ended in a draw. The departures of Djibouti Sevens team to Khartoum for the return match will be played on next Fridays at El Merriye Stadium in Khartoum. It's with great sadness that we learned the death of the late Amin Ahmed Boulale, consular at Djibouti Embassy in Cairo. In this painful situation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Government spokesperson Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Secretary General of DFAT, the ambassadors and all officials of the ministry joined in the family's grief and offered their sincere condolences to the entire families as well as to the relatives of the late Amin Ahmed Boulale. The late Amin Ahmed Boulale, born in 1966 in Djibouti, was a career diplomat. He had served as an advisor in our diplomatic representation in Paris, Beijing, and Cairo. He was married and father of 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. May the God welcome him to his eternal paradise. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, in Burkina Faso, a dozen soldiers were killed Monday's mornings in a major attacks by terrorist armed group in northern Burkina Faso. The General Staff of the Burkinabe armies announced it in a statement in the early mornings Monday. The military detachment in Koudougou, Soum province, was the target of a major attack by armed terrorist group. The staff said in this ranks of the National Forces, a provisional assessment shows that more than a dozen soldiers have been killed and several wounded. He added, according to several security sources, other soldiers are missing and the death toll could exceed 20, making this attack the deadliest in the regions. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.